Hey everyone, this is Olivia Caudell, your host for the Conscious Wealth Builders Online Summit, and I have the beautiful and gorgeous Lesya Anna here with me today. Hello, beautiful.
Hello, gorgeous.
Aww.
Yourself?
Yes, so you are my goddess soul sister, and I'm so grateful that we got to cross paths just
I
this
know.
this year in Vancouver. We met.
I know. Amazing. Amazing. Meant to be for sure.
Totally meant to be. And you and I align on so many levels where it's like we're so believers in consciousness and higher purpose and being able to create
Yes.
prosperity and being a spiritual person doesn't mean that we have to be broke. It means
Yeah.
that we can have wealth, financial wealth, spiritual wealth, relationship wealth. We can really have it all and be evolved human beings and just create a world that works for everyone. And so you're totally a conscious wealth builder and have very similar principles and programs that you're creating. So I invited you to be on this because I want you to share with the world what you're up to, because just what you're up to is so awesome.
Thank you, honey. Thank you. I'm so excited actually to be on your show. I'm super thrilled that you're doing this. I think it's an amazing gift to the world as well. And just it's exciting. It's exciting to see people starting to step up and shift how they want to participate in creating wealth on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a we situation, not just a me, and competition. Instead, seeing it as a connected force of creating abundance for all of us. So,
Speaking of
congratulations.
connected, and thank you, you're
Yes.
the executive producer for this awesome documentary, which I'm such a closet nerd. I love documentaries. Like, I could probably just sit and watch documentaries all day long, and you're the executive producer for this new documentary that just came out, Connected Universe.
Yes.
So tell
Yes.
us and share with us about this. This is so exciting.
Well, I'm super excited about it for sure. The movie is about the science of oneness. So, a lot of us, spiritual folk or people that, or not, like even if you're more religious rather than spiritual, we talk about, everything is one. There's one God. There's one. But how is that taken away from just being a spiritual dogma or ideology to
Yeah.
an actual science? So this movie, we feature the scientist Nassim Haramein, and he has come up with a theory that is starting to prove itself to be accurate in multiple tests, and he's starting to publish papers with it that are continuing to build on it and build on it.
Wow.
And it explores his journey and our personal journey to understanding how we are actually all one and connected at the same time. It's a fascinating journey. I've been absolutely, it's been a work of passion for sure. The director, Malcolm Carter, has done an incredible job. I've never seen anybody work so hard in my life. And
Wow.
I think people will like it. I'm hoping people will like it for
Oh
sure.
my gosh. Yeah, no, I have a buddy, a mutual friend of ours, Tanner. He sent me a message
Yeah.
this morning on Facebook and was like, Liv, I just got done watching the Connected Universe. And then, so yeah,
He
there's,
sent it to me too. Yeah, I was like, what? How did he hear about it? So that was
yeah,
exciting. Yeah.
super exciting. So this is so great. I mean, because the thing I love about, the science coming out is what you and I, we know that there's a spiritual force. We know that there's this love, intelligence, this consciousness. And what I love about the science is that it's no longer this hocus pocus, let's all kumbaya go hug trees. It's like,
Correct.
no, this is a real thing, people.
Correct.
This is real. So like, and it's deeper and it's more meaningful than
Correct.
just peace and love. It's like, wow, no, this is like going to change the world, like, and create real peace on the planet.
We've had our movie released now in over 97 countries worldwide. We've had our Hollywood premiere at the DGA, which is the Directors Guild of America. We had to rent the largest theater because the two smaller ones were already rented out for other premieres. And we were nervous about filling it up. And it was on the night of the presidential debate for the first one. And we also, because of just how the movie and timelines were going, we only had literally 1 week when we sent out the invitations to when the event was happening, and we were charging $100 a ticket. and we were oversold out, and we got a standing ovation. We've had premieres in London, in Paris, and we've had standing ovations in every single venue. Wow. We have incredible positive feedback. So, you know, it's pretty exciting. People are ready for this. They're ready for a change. They're ready for some new information that can empower them and give them some tools to really understand how they matter personally in the universe. You know, their energy is here for a reason, and it's got the science, but it also has a lot of heart. It has a lot of heart and soul, and how do we really connect to ourselves and to each other? So the connecteduniversefilm.com. Please go and have a look.
Yeah. Wow, I'm so excited that I get to call you my friend and that I get to be close in this community because, like I said, I'm such a geek for this stuff. I love it. I think it's awesome because it was like once I could really understand the science and how we're all entangled and that when we're connected to our heart's intelligence, that there's a ripple effect that goes out into the universe. So not only do we impact, you know, ourselves, our emotional state, we impact people around us on an energetic level and the planet and the universe as a whole. So so once I saw that the science was actually proving that, and they're doing science experiments to show that, I became more socially responsible for my beingness in the world, not just, you know, for myself, but wow, like I actually freaking matter, like you said.
Exactly. And when we really get that, and you're absolutely on the mark with that, Livia. You know, when we start understanding that, we start behaving a little bit more responsibly, a little bit more carefully, realizing that, hey, you know what, I can actually impact what is happening out there. That in fact, if I clean up my own thought systems, if I release, you know, belief systems that are not useful, and you know, consciously embed new thought systems, I can have a positive impact on the world. I'm not powerless. You know, I have a power within me. It's a small power. It is only one, but it is important. Every single one contributes. And then if you come together and, you know, we build off each other's energy, and we continue to come together to whether it is you want to chant or pray or mantra, whatever it is, but the idea is that you come together, you come into a unified state, and we become that much more powerful to impact a change that creates peace and wellness and joy in the world. So
that's so yummy. I love it.
But we're here to talk about wealth building, which, you know, I really want to emphasize that, you know, that does not preclude being wealthy or abundant. But, you know, and what does that exactly mean to be wealthy or abundant? And you know,
I would love your view on that. Please share.
Well, you know, I saw a magazine cover today on Money Sense, and it said money is, you know, the value and the way we use currency is starting to change. You know, now we have things like Bitcoin, and many people are trying to get away from a full-on you know, dollars and cents economy. We're trying to do some gifting economies, you know, and it's getting more and more popular. And in fact, there was a gentleman who had cancer, and he felt that when he started switching to doing more gifting economy, where everything he was doing was an exchange. Now, I'm not saying that that's how it's going to go anytime soon, and I'm not saying that that's entirely the full solution, but it was an interesting thing to hear from him that, you know, when he stopped, you know, worrying and dealing with the whole monetary system, suddenly his cancer just, you know, faded away. And, you know, health is our first wealth, without which we go nowhere. So just something interesting to think about, you know, and something interesting to consider, you know. I mean, at the same time, people have asked whether we can give away our movie for free. And the truth is we still have to, you know, make a living and pay our bills and our rent and all that kind of stuff. So
absolutely.
You know, you know, we have to still play within the realism of this day and age. And I still also function and create other sources of wealth and income from the internet or from real estate or from investments, the typical stock investments, which I don't have a lot of faith in, but I have somebody doing some of that for me. But just to say that, the more we find different avenues to create wealth, the more ease ends up flowing in our life. In other words, when you become in touch with your higher self, with your consciousness, or that part of you that wants to do good in the world and create your own wealth at the same time, when you start exploring how to do that, it's amazing how many answers there are out there. Yeah. There's lots going on.
Yeah.
Lots. So that's my take.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so that's the whole thing is like with Conscious Wealth Builders, when I got the channel to create this movement, it was really about redefining what we make wealth mean. So it isn't just about money in this particular context. It's about a state of being, conscious wealth. Yeah. So what is conscious wealth? It is a state of being. It's having a wealthy life, an abundant life, right? And so it's wealthy relationships. It's, and so that's the thing is sometimes, wealth could come in the form of a relationship that brings you so much joy and so much love. And that is health and healing, which is your wealth as well. So it's really taking into account like, okay, so what do we make this word wealth mean? It's always, most of the time, going straight to how much money's in your bank account. And that's not what I'm saying here. I'm talking about it's the amount of what the escrow in your soul. Yes. Yes. The vibrational escrow. How much vibrational escrow do you have in your soul? That's the kind of wealth we're talking about here. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, and money's great too. So like I love money. And that's a conversation you and I have had is that, there's a lot of people in the conscious community, spiritual community that's like, oh, you shouldn't charge for your services, kind of like what you were talking about. And you and I talked about being broke is not spiritual either.
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, in my opinion, if you're broke, you're not really tapping into all the resources that you've got going for you. In other words, it's very difficult for me to believe that you're really connected to your spiritual self or to that part of you that speaks that intuitive wisdom if you're not I guess depending what stage of investing and creating your own career you're in. But, I really feel that if you follow your intuition and you follow that higher wisdom and that mix between, that sits in your soul, the mix between the higher self and the lower energies, when we tap into that on a regular basis to the point where it becomes second nature, you don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to call it anything spiritual, but I can tell you that almost every single super wealthy person from Richard Branson to Tony Robbins to all of them, Brendan Bouchard, any of them, they will all have a connect to their inner selves process. Where they can listen to that intuitive voice, because without that intuitive voice, we're actually kind of out there like a fish out of water. We're flapping around, making a lot of noise, but nothing really will happen that's effective.
No, and it's so true, and I really do believe that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And there's a lot of people that subscribe to that worldview. And so if you think about it, we're always, doing spiritual things. You know what I mean? It's just really being aware of that, right? And then raising your vibration to really be the fullest self-expression of your spiritual human self as possible.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you work one-on-one with people.
I do.
Consultations, and you're developing programs right now, weekend programs. So share with us about that.
So I do consultations to help people to do small changes that make great impact in their connection to themselves. So I really love having conversations with people and listening to what they say language-wise, and then I help them to begin to understand, to see a different level of awareness or a different paradigm, and then I'll take them through a personalized meditation. And the beauty of that is that when I know where their blocks are, even if they don't, I can expand them into a greater potential by helping them to essentially see their own blocks. So I do that on a personal level. And then I will do, I have weekend programs. I'll have some online programs coming as well because not everyone can travel. And so the weekend programs are a total immersive experience where right now it's geared towards women, but it's a complete, yeah, you know, I feel right now empowering women is really, really important in terms of, not that I want to disempower men. I love men. I have many different types of men, from siblings to, you know, uncles and such, but that I admire. But women really need to understand their role in expanding the consciousness on the world.
Yes, sister. Yeah. Yes, I'm with you.
Yes. Yeah. You know, we've been suppressed for so long, and now women, we have this heightened connection to the spirit world or to the unseen world. We're far closer in terms of radar connection to that. And so why wouldn't we want to use this gift? Like, we're given this gift.
Oh, you just gave me goosebumps, girlfriend. Well, and I would assert, and from my observation, is that there's still a misuse of our feminine energy that is in the form of, you know, sexual promiscuity, and we've kind of dumbed down our energy, our potential energy, and gotten more into the masculine to try to compensate, to show men, like, now I've got the women's rights movement, so I can just be as powerful as you. But we're not coming at it from the feminine. We're coming at it from the masculine side. And so I've even had to retrain myself to really step into my feminine energy and to balance, because I was way masculine, because I was like, yeah.
This is very common because there was no other real role models for us to go for. If we wanted to become powerful as a woman, well, how do we become powerful? Well, men are powerful. Now we can become more like them. But that doesn't work for us because our power doesn't lie in the masculine. Yeah. Our power lies in being the feminine and in tapping into that. You know, I was thinking, not that I want to get into politics at all, but it would have been interesting if the female contender for the president would have been a more goddessy flowing woman. You know, I wonder how that would have gone, instead of, you know, somebody that was, you know, being female, feminine, but very, very like in the harsh line, you know, take. So what if we took, you know, got a female leader that was far more feminine and brought in some gentleness and, you know, sweetness to the race? I don't know. Interesting concept.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So can I ask you a question? What's your take on, so speaking to men and women both, what's your take on like really discovering higher purpose? Like, I know you've probably gone through your own journey, and love for you to share about your discovery, and then, you know, maybe give people some access on how they can do that for themselves. Because I know one thing for me, it was like I would read all these great books, go to all these programs, and they would talk about, you know, how they've tapped into their higher purpose and they're making money and they've got this great life and blah, 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 blah. But I was always left with like, well, what's my part? You know? Right. And I grappled, and I still, to a certain degree, do. I feel that I'm more connected to my higher purpose than ever. But, you know, especially when the light bulb goes on that you can impact the world, you're flooded with so many ideas. Right? Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I'm infinite possibility and I can do everything. Right? Yeah. So then, like, where have you gotten, you know,
the focus and the clarity? Yeah. So, you know, what I think is that our higher purpose comes with experience and with simply allowing. So, you know, sitting in the silence, learning to sit in that silence and be comfortable with it, and directly asking your guides, your higher power. And again, I don't mean to be sounding at all in any way spiritual. I do like being more science-based. I am spiritual, but I like to speak in the science form, because to me that just seems more now there's the intuitive side, and then now it's backed up by a mathematical theory, right? So if we can back things up with mathematics, it really, you know, satisfies that part of me that wants, well, that's nice, but I've seen lots of spiritual dogma be, something that I completely disagree with. So I believe that to find your purpose, really follow that which creates that tickle in your heart or in your belly. Follow the energy, follow what makes you happy. And the truth is that it's an evolution. I mean, most of those people don't even realize when they're they've created that something, or they're at that part where they're like, this was my purpose. Like, you can just tell that that's what they were here to do on the planet. But most of them had no idea what they were going to be building, or what it was going to look like in the end. I mean, these things just become bigger than you could possibly imagine if you're starting to follow authentically your purpose. So really, it comes down to, again, following the intuition and following the energy, what feels right, and asking. Literally, I ask. Okay, I call them sometimes the grandmothers. I call them just my angels. It doesn't really matter, but I firmly believe there's a higher power, and I don't think it's one central source. I think it's a higher power, a cohesive power that is in many, many different places at the same time. And maybe not everywhere, but definitely in many different places at the same time. And we can ask of that. We can say, hey, what would be the best thing for me to do right now? What would be the easiest path for me to do that would bring the highest results for myself and for everyone that's involved? And then, when you get your answer, don't expect the path to be easy. People think, well, if it's my higher purpose, it's just, and I need to follow the energy, then it's just going to be super duper easy. This is not necessarily true at all. Many things that are worth getting, you need to work for them. There's a process, and there's a development, and there's an evolution to what things look like. And then also, don't forget that everything's more fun with other people. And so when you are bringing in their energy to your plan or your idea, or you're bringing your ideas together and your plans together, it's going to evolve together. I mean, when you have somebody else in the room, there's like a third energy there, right? Like, it's you, the other person, and this relationship that's its own power. And so these things will all have an influence on you and on what you feel is, working or not working. And sometimes, I often need to go back. In fact, I did that today. I just about changed everything in terms of some plans that I was making. And then I stopped and I went, wait a second, that's not where I'm going. I have to stay the course. This is where I was, this was the plan. And I was ready to change it because suddenly it was inconvenient. There was an inconvenience for me to, it was much more work and I thought, I'm just going to, okay, let's forget all that. And let's just, stay back and not travel and do this, the traditional way. And then suddenly I went, no. Wait, I have there's something in my heart that keeps saying, you must go, you must go, you must go. I'm planning a little bit of an international trip around the globe. So
of course you are.
With a 9-year-old. Oh my God.
The one thing that I keep hearing from you is asking questions. So that's one thing that even I resisted for a long time, was like asking myself questions, because I was like, well, that's weird. Like, why would I ask questions? Until I started getting answers. And then it was like, oh, whoa, this is cool. And is this real? Is this my imagination? Is this guides? Is this angels? Like, is this God? Like, what is this answer? Who's answering back? Because sometimes it's very clear. But that had to develop through my trust and surrender, though, too. Because my ego was overpowering that voice for a long time. And so I couldn't hear what my heart was really calling me to do. I was so driven by just making money and surviving, and I'll never be broke, because I grew up in a house where we were poor. And so I decided I would do whatever it takes to never be broke. So it was like sometimes that conversation in my mind was so loud, it was overpowering the soft voice in my heart that was
Yes.
saying, nope, this isn't your path, but you obviously got to go learn some lessons. And I'm grateful because I did. I learned many lessons. There was a time where I was making a boatload of money, but I was alone, using drugs and alcohol to try to
Right.
cope with my pain of separation from my family and separation from really my true self, essentially.
Right.
You
Yes,
know?
well, nice to be waking up from that.
Yeah.
And yes, and questions are powerful because it allows for possibilities. If we start, there's this thing with law of attraction. I talk about law of attraction in my programs
Mm,
because it's this popular sort of dogma that's going around, modern day dogma. And I think that it's important to realize that, again, we really have no idea the potential that exists inside of
mm,
us and where our dreams can actually lead. So it's super important to allow for the possibility of what can come up to us rather
mm.
than insisting it show up a certain way.
Yeah.
So rather
Wow.
than I insist that I have I don't know, whatever it is. I don't even like to go into the material stuff, but I insist that I have a round the world trip of some sort. Well, maybe it's going to look some other way, and
Mm,
having the impression of taking bold steps or taking action and listening to that still quiet voice.
yeah.
The saying is, "Be still and know that I am." So and without listening to the quiet voice, we miss it. We miss the message. And I think, yeah, like you said, it's super important to stay open and ask questions, and to
Yeah.
be in gratitude.
Gosh dang, yeah.
We miss that
Mm,
too, right? Like, thank you that I even have an awareness to have come to this show. Thank you that I even have an awareness that, hey, you know what? I can be powerful. Oh,
mm.
and thanks for all these people that are showing me the way. And if you have a personal mentor, thank them personally. The act of gratitude and saying thank you cannot be overstated enough.
Oh, it's so, gosh dang, you just keep giving me chills. You're so
Uh,
powerful, girlfriend. You are. Because it is, and that's what, I like to share with people is like, it's something that gets taken for granted because it's so simple. It's so simple that we
yeah,
almost miss it. Like
yeah,
just simply activating gratitude literally
yes,
activates the first, second, third parts of the brain. Your
yes,
body works in harmony, you go to a state of rest and digest. You produce DHEA, which is an anti-aging hormone. I mean,
correct.
there's so much benefit to this power of gratitude that most people have no clue. All I know is it
Yeah,
feels good. It just feels
yes,
good when I'm grateful. But there's
yes, that's
such a
right.
huge exponential impact in your life, in your physical,
Yes.
your spiritual, your mental, everybody around you.
Everybody around you, exactly. And it just keeps getting better. It's almost like an unstoppable invisible
Mm,
force. Super powerful. So,
yeah,
and you get to be happy along the way rather than,
yeah,
you know, not.
yeah. Yeah, awesome.
Mhm.
So, and then touching on the prosperity, so you've actually created a lot of financial abundance for yourself through your spiritual and healing work throughout your life. And so, how did you go about doing that? And because I know that you were you're a practitioner for a while, correct? Chiropractor?
Yes, yes. I was a
Yeah,
chiropractor and an acupuncturist for about 10 years.
yeah.
And then I realized that I just couldn't, it just simply wasn't for me. Like, to be in the same office for another 20 years, I just knew that that was not something that I would be satisfied with.
Okay.
So I took the leap, quite literally, and I went off and I became an adventure traveler. So I became a
Amazing.
climber and a skydiver and like an adventure hiker. I hiked these crazy, paths, and so that was fun. And then I started to invest. I thought, well, better make some choices around, how my future is going to look. And I began to invest along with my family.
That's great.
So I do have my family to thank. My parents were poor when I was young, but they worked their whole lives. And by the time I got to be, sort of a young adult, they started, getting some getting more comfortable. And then, I got, firsthand knowledge on, how to make a good deal and how to understand what a good deal is, especially in real estate. But it's interesting, they unfortunately they both passed away quite young, so that was a little bit of a shell shock for me. So I had to really work through that, and I had my daughter after they passed away, so I had to raise my daughter on my own. The dad is out of town quite often. So it's been quite a journey, and through that, I really now teach a lot about how to take care of ourselves on that level of stress and the importance of managing stress in our lives, because stress really is the number one killer in North America, or in any, sort of first world country, and probably in third world countries. In fact, I would say that a good stress or a bad stress, even if we're overworking ourselves, which we can consider good stress because it's for our business or it's for our, our own livelihood. The fact is that it can raise your heart, your cholesterol levels, your blood pressure, and damage your heart, your cardiovascular system, your nervous system, and your hormonal system. And so I really, really try to stress, being that I'm from the healthcare background, that health is your first true wealth. And I was quite surprised that, given my background, I allowed the health to go. I didn't get quite enough sleep. Funny that, with a baby. But nonetheless, there's lots of, I can go on and on and on about that. In fact, I can do a whole weekend course on it. Yay! And I will. And because outside of just mindset, there is a lot of information that people can empower themselves with in terms of how do they manage stress and what are the best science-based techniques to do so.
That's so great. Well, thank you for inspiring me, and I know that you're inspiring the viewers, because sometimes we just need permission, to go out and do it,
Yes.
Like, I believe in you. You can do this. You can absolutely create win-win-win situations. You can help people. You can, empower the planet and taking care of the planet. And you can also make money in the process and do well for yourself and live an abundant, prosperous life. And you're a living testimony of that. You're just traveling the world and film producer of documentaries. And you're just like, you and I both, we're just both, just stepping into it and doing it.
That's right. Exactly. And I want to really, emphasize that I give back a lot.
Yeah.
I've given a lot. Like, people, when I actually tell them, and I'm not sure that I'm ready to say so on any kind of network TV right now. But I mean, when I tell people, they just fall back and they think, I can never give that much. And I don't ask people to give that much, but I can just want to share that, when we give back, you get that amazing high within yourself that you just feel that you've contributed. But aside from that, I find that when you give back, I tell you, the universe just floods you with even more. It's a mysterious funnel. It's not the click funnel, but it's in a mysterious funnel of how abundance really works.
Wow, I could hear you doing a course called The Mysterious Funnel.
Ooh,
creating prosperity beyond your wildest dreams.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I'm going to write that one down.
Please do. That's great.
That's a great one, because it's so true. I can just say that I've done way over the 10% of tithing. I've done, like, almost silly, but I really believed that this, for one, that this movie needed to come out. There were several times when it was almost not going to make it out, and that would have been a real shame, because It can, it's one of those movies you can watch over and over and over
Yeah.
and still get more information out
Yeah.
of. So it's chock full of information. And, I, I just really, really feel that if it can inspire people to understand themselves and to understand that mystery that lives within themselves that much more. And when we put good things out into the universe, we just get flooded with good back.
Oh my gosh.
It really is the
Absolutely.
holographic univerous.
No, it
What we
totally
put
is.
out is what comes back to us.
Well, and how cool to be able to say that a part of your life's mission to be a part of such a world, a movement and documentary. That's a really
Yes.
awesome thing. So I acknowledge your contribution to having it come into the world, because I know it's going to make a huge difference, and I'm so excited to be a part of there's going to be an academy or something too as well.
There is an academy. You can sign up for. They have courses.
Amazing.
And they are with Nassim Haramein, the scientist, and it's super fascinating. Super fascinating, and I can say that it's a little bit sometimes almost surprising, but it's kind of fun that way. It's not the same old science. It's not the same old that this is, the confines that we're living in. It's a complete science of possibility, and yet the theory is holding up. I love it. I've been loving it. So I promote the Resonance Academy, as well as my own course, which will be online. And my website right now is Dr. Lesya Anna, DrLesyaAna. So ANNA. But yeah, go explore. It's fun. It's exciting, and it'll give everybody that is all interested a whole new perspective, a whole new way to see the world. And more important than anything, I think we need some inspiration that way. We really need to feel like, you know what, I can make a difference.
Yeah. Oh, so good. So good. Sister, so you're going to offer basically like a 15-minute consultation for people. If you're an entrepreneur, if you want to empower your health and well-being, or just really live into your fullest potential. Can you just share a little bit about that?
Yes. So one thing, I'm a bookaholic. I absolutely love books. And the two that I work with more than anything is this 2,000-year-old advice for happiness.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. And also Open Your Mind to Receive.
Oh.
So the thing is, the more we realize, and they're two kind of not very thick books.
Yeah.
But there's beauty in simplicity, and in getting to the point rather than, making it complicated. I remember buying a course. I mean, I've spent tons of money on personal development courses, and I bought a course, and like pounds of workbooks came, and like it was just like constant, and I just thought, you know what, I'm done. It turned me off to be so inundated. And I promised myself that when I was going to get my program out there would be a beauty in the simplicity. So what I do is, as I said, as I take people through a mind, body, soul coaching session, and I end it with an 8-minute meditation that so far I've had 0 people say that they've not gotten something profound from it. So yeah,
awesome.
So hopefully that record stands. I mean, I'm sure somebody will want to. Some troll will say, "Oh, that was not worth it." But hey, it's a meditation, and in my opinion, I don't know how you can't have something positive come out of that.
Yeah, however, no. If you're doing the work, there's always something huge that comes out of just connecting with your higher self. Just the piece of that, and the layers. There's so many layers of going within that it's so moving when you just actually take the time to go within and get quiet.
Yes, and you'll get different understandings and levels of awareness from each coach that you get. So every coach will have their way of bringing out that which you need. And I firmly believe that people get attracted to the right coach at the right time for themselves. We don't have to get all concerned that, I haven't tried this technique or that technique.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, where did you go? Okay, there we go.
There you are.
Okay. We're good.
You looked so serene, meditating. Like, it's frozen. I'm better than I thought. I can put her into meditation like that.
That's how powerful you are. I love it. Well, it's so awesome to be with you. Thank you so much for, sharing your wisdom and your love and your knowledge and just what you're up to. And I'll make sure that we put the link below. So all of the viewers, make sure, if you want to get a free consultation from Dr. Lesya, she can help you reduce stress, break through your self-limiting belief systems, realize that you're connected to the universe, and make sure you check out the documentary and click the link below. Thank you so much for your time and contribution. Just love you.
Thank you, Livia. Love you.
Bye.
Amazing.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.